Thank you for your interest in the Eastern Shore Metropolitan Planning Organization. One of our top priorities is keeping you informed of and involved in the transportation planning activities along the Eastern Shore. In this presentation, we will discuss some of the core principles of an MPO and answer common questions such as, what is an MPO? How are MPOs formed? Why are MPOs formed? What does an MPO do? And how can you be involved in the Eastern Shore MPO? Let's start with the most basic question. What is an MPO? MPO is an acronym with each letter representing a different word. The M in MPO represents the word metropolitan. Metropolitan areas are densely populated areas usually composed of several cities and towns. The P in MPO represents the word planning. MPOs assist with transportation planning within metropolitan areas. This includes planning related to vehicle traffic, bicycle traffic, pedestrian traffic, and public transportation. Finally, the O in MPO simply represents the word organization. MPOs are organizations established pursuant to federal law under the Federal Highway Administration. Because Eastern Shore Metropolitan Planning Organization is a bit of a mouthful, we generally use the short form MPO or ESMPO. In one sentence, you might say that an MPO is a transportation policy-making organization made up of representatives from local governments and transportation agencies within the metropolitan area. The next question we should consider is, how are MPOs formed? Understanding how MPOs are formed will help us understand the purpose of an MPO. Every 10 years, the U.S. Census Bureau counts how many people live throughout the United States. If an area has less than 2,500 people, it is classified as rural. If an area has more than 2,500 people, but less than 50,000 people, it is classified as an urban cluster. Cities such as Robertsdale and Foley are classified as urban clusters. If an area has more than 50,000 people, but less than 200,000 people, it is classified as a small urbanized area. And finally, if an area has 200,000 people or more, it is classified as a large urbanized area. When an area's population reaches 50,000, the area is classified as a small urbanized area and an MPO is formed. In 2010, the Census Bureau found that the Eastern Shore had a population of more than 50,000 people. As a result, this area was classified as a small urbanized area, which included the local governments of Spanish Fort, Daphne, Fairhope, Loxley, and Baldwin County. The new urban area next went through a smoothing process, whereby the urban boundary was smoothed out to create a more definitive urban area. Finally, an urban study area was designated, showing areas projected to become urbanized over the next 20 years. The small urbanized area, the smoothed urban area, and the urban study area together form the planning jurisdiction of the MPO and are commonly referred to collectively as the Metropolitan Planning Area. In the summer of 2012, officials from the local governments met, along with the Alabama Department of Transportation, the Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Transit Administration, and formed the Eastern Shore MPO. The governing body of the MPO is called the Policy Board, and is composed of elected government officials from the City of Daphne, the City of Fairhope, the City of Spanish Fort, the Town of Loxley, and Baldwin County, as well as the 9th Division engineer from the Alabama Department of Transportation. In July 2012, the Policy Board selected the Baldwin County Highway Department to act as the MPO administrator. Two advisory committees aid and support the Policy Board. the Technical Advisory Committee, sometimes referred to as the TAC, and the Citizens Advisory Committee, sometimes referred to as the CAC. The Technical Advisory Committee is composed of local public officials such as public works directors, planning and zoning directors, superintendents of utilities, and the county engineer. The Citizens Advisory Committee is composed of citizens from within the metropolitan planning area: 4 representatives of the city of Daphne, 4 representatives of the city of Fairhope, 4 representatives of Baldwin County, 2 representatives of Spanish Fort, and 2 representatives of the town of Loxley. In 2013, the Eastern Shore MPO anticipates forming the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, which will also be composed of citizens from within the metropolitan planning area. The Policy Board, with its advisory committees, comprises the entire MPO. So we know what an MPO is, and we know how an MPO is formed, but now we must consider the critical question of why are MPOs formed? The purpose of an MPO is to ensure that existing and future expenditures for transportation projects and programs are based on a continuing, cooperative, and comprehensive planning process. This is often referred to as the 3C planning process. MPOs are formed to encourage teamwork among local governments when planning for the transportation needs of a region. Federal money to assist with transportation projects is channeled through the MPO. What does an MPO do? The 3 primary tasks of an MPO can be summarized as follows. First, the MPO must establish and manage a fair and impartial setting for effective regional decision-making and implementation of the 3C planning process. Offices for the Eastern Shore MPO are located at the Baldwin County Satellite Courthouse in Fairhope, Alabama. The MPO coordinator can be reached by calling 251-990-4640 or by emailing coordinator@easternshorempo.org. Second, the MPO is tasked with preparing core planning documents for the region. These documents include the Unified Planning Work Program, which is like the MPO budget, the Public Participation Plan, which outlines the MPO's efforts to make sure the public has ample opportunity to be involved in the transportation planning process, the Long Range Transportation Plan, which utilizes a planning horizon of at least 20 years to prepare for the transportation planning needs of the region, and the Transportation Improvement Program, which is a short-range 4-year program of transportation improvements based on the Long Range Transportation Plan. Copies of the above documents will be placed on the MPO website www.easternshorempo.org as the documents are prepared by MPO staff and approved by the Policy Board. Finally, the MPO must strive to involve the public and other affected constituencies in each of the areas discussed above. This provides us with a perfect transition into our final question. How can you be involved? The Eastern Shore MPO is a young organization, but is currently taking great steps to make sure the public is continually apprised of MPO activities. There are several simple ways you can be involved. First, you can attend Policy Board meetings, Technical Advisory Committee meetings, and Citizen Advisory Committee meetings. At each of these meetings, you will have an opportunity to voice your thoughts, concerns, and opinions if you wish to. Second, you can provide comments on MPO activities. When the MPO takes substantive action, comment forms will be provided on the MPO website. Written comments submitted to the MPO will receive a response in writing. Finally, in 2013, the Eastern Shore MPO anticipates officially launching the Speak Your Mind campaign. Features of this campaign will include email alerts regarding MPO activity and opportunities for public comment, updates via social media, and flyer drops at churches, community centers, schools, retirement centers, and apartment complexes throughout the metropolitan planning area. The staff at the Eastern Shore MPO is here to serve you. Please do not hesitate to contact our office if we can be of any assistance whatsoever. You can also find copies of MPO documents, comment forms, and a great deal of other information on the MPO website. We look forward to hearing from you.